Alright, so my name is RC. Hey everyone.
Hi, my name is Wendy.
And this is our first edition of our show. We don't have a name for it yet, but we will come up with that. Untitled for now. So there's just some things we want to go over. Wendy recently read an article. Wendy, what was that article about?
Okay, so I got this magazine. It's called the Bloomberg Business Weekly, I think. It's from an article about Snapchat. This June 2015. So it's about the CEO, Spiegel. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. But yeah, so they're just talking about this guy. And he's the CEO of Snapchat, which is only like a really young startup in California. And it's only 4 years old. And he's only 23 years old.
Okay. That's the owner of Snapchat. He's only 23?
Yes. He's 23 years old. And he's created... I don't know what's happening with my voice. And he's created Snapchat. And he's built it up to this company for 4 years. And what's interesting about this is because he's actually a very... first of all, he's young. He's now 24. So he started this company when he was 20. And it's now evaluated to be worth about $15 billion.
Wow.
According.
Yeah. I remember Facebook tried to buy them at one point for $3 million.
They did. They did back in 2013, I think.
Okay.
They tried to do that.
So obviously they made the right decision because now it's worth 5 times.
Well, it's just an estimation, so they don't really know exactly what it's worth.
Right. There's
a few very, controversial things about Snapchat.
Okay.
Firstly, because they don't really know how it's going to make money. Like, through most of the startups, they get their money through adverts.
Right. And
right now, Snapchat is one of the most expensive social network sites or app. Right. You could use it. You can say that you have to pay for advertising. It's the third most expensive.
Really?
I think.
So Snapchat actually has advertising in it.
They do in a way.
Right. So how does the ads actually work? Like, have you used it?
Well, I've used Snapchat. I've actually just started using it this year, specifically this summer, starting like May-ish. Right. I've heard about it since I was in Australia, which is like a couple of years back.
Right.
And I didn't use it then because it didn't make sense to me to post a photo that will disappear in like 10 minutes. Yeah. I mean, 10 seconds.
Like when I first heard that, I thought it was like for snapping off some nudes, you know? Like, they only see it for 10 seconds and then it goes away.
Yeah.
But apparently it's actually not like that. From what I hear, I've actually never used Snapchat, but I heard there's like a storyboard. So it's kind of like, to me it sounds like Instagram almost.
Yeah.
Where like... you take some like videos and then people can watch it on your storyboard, kind of like how they watch it on your Instagram wall, right?
Except Snapchat disappears and you can never like kind of go back to it again. So that's their selling point actually. So here's the CEO Spiegel. He actually says that Snapchat is less about disappearing selfies and more about letting people capture a moment, and that it's all about having freedom and not having to think too much about what you're putting out in the internet because it's going to disappear anyways. You don't have to think about like your image that you have on Facebook because people can actually go back to it and like recapture that moment time and time again.
That's like what their goal is supposed to be.
Yeah, sort of like what they're talking about.
What's the main idea of this article? Is there like a main point they're trying to talk about, or are they just talking about Snapchat in general?
Yeah, they're just trying to talk about like what Snapchat is first of all, what the future of Snapchat is.
But everybody knows that Snapchat saves everything, even though it is temporary. Everybody knows on a database all those snaps are still there and saved.
Yes.
I think there was even a Snapchat hack. I think I read that somewhere.
I'm not sure.
Where like somebody hacked into it and they got all the previous pictures in Snapchat.
I'm fairly new to it. So this article is pretty much like what I know about Snapchat.
I've never used Snapchat either, but so this is like Snapchat coming from noobs and people who've never used it. But it's okay because this is
our point of view of what Snapchat is.
Yeah.
So how we understand Snapchat. Like the other day, I was trying to find my friend on Snapchat.
Okay.
She has a Snapchat account and I have a Snapchat account.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, when I first got it, because when you first download the Snapchat, actually, it asks you whether you want to import your contacts into Snapchat. So, me not knowing anything about Snapchat, I was just like, okay, I'll just, get everyone to kind of like say, hey, I'm on Snapchat now. So I just kind of clicked everybody in my contacts, not knowing whether, like, are they gonna accept my friend request? Is it a friend request, first of all?
Yeah.
Or how does it work? So I just kind of like added them, and then I didn't get a reply at all.
Okay.
I couldn't see whether they've added me back or can they see my snaps. I'm not sure. So I just kind of like started using it, and then slowly people have actually befriended me too.
So they like accepted your request?
I guess.
Okay.
And I saw that I can see their snaps.
Okay.
But then my friend Mark,
mm-hmm.
she was telling me like, hey, I'm on Snapchat too. And I'm like, well, how come I can never see your snaps? And then she said, but I see yours. So that kind of like made it all really confusing for me. I had to look for her on Snapchat and then manually add her.
Okay.
So it's sort of like I have to know your Snapchat username, and you have to know mine.
Right.
And it shows you, the good thing about it is that it shows you who has seen your snaps and who has screenshot, because you can actually copy it, screenshot it too. So it will tell you like, Renante screenshot your snap. So you can't just like creep somebody.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I heard about that feature.
Yeah, you can't creep somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So if somebody sends you a picture, you can't just take a snapshot of it. Because it'll tell them, right? It'll give them a notification. But the other thing is, I did read about that feature, but there's a workaround on that too, because there's an app that will let you steal that picture without them knowing it.
Seriously?
Yeah, so there's always going to be a workaround. That's the thing about Snapchat. Just remember, anything you release on the internet, it's never private. Even Snapchat, even though they're telling you they're deleting it, it's still there.
Well, that's the idea, apparently.
That's the idea, but everybody knows that's not how it works.
So that you won't feel like you have to always think about what you're putting out there. You can just be your goofy self.
Yeah, but it's not true. You still have to think about what you're putting out there. That's the thing.
You just can't go around it.
Yeah, you just can't get around it. That's really how it is. If you want it to be private, you show them in person. That's the only way to do it these days.
I guess, but that's the idea of Snapchat, is so that you don't have to consider those you don't have to consider what's gonna happen after you send that snap.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it was made for nudies.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that's where the idea came from.
That's what I first thought it was. So when I first heard it, I had a friend too. Her friend used to send her snaps, but she was like the shy type, so she didn't like sending snaps back. So what she would do is she would take a picture of a black thing and then she would type like a text message. Because apparently you can't send a text message in Snapchat. It has to be a snap back.
It has to be either a video or a picture.
So she would take a black picture. She would put the phone on her pants. She would take the picture of black. And then she would type in her text message.
So why doesn't she just text message on like WhatsApp or...
Oh, because she's already on the platform. So her friend would send her a snap of like a video or a picture.
Oh, I see.
And then she'd reply what she... I don't know.
But that's another thing that I noticed was inconvenient for me, because whenever I want to take a photo,
right.
I usually
we're running on 9 minutes right now, so
okay,
we'll cut it off at 15.
Is that I take a photo or video in my camera cell phone, but you can't actually get that camera and kind of put it in Snapchat. You have to actually take the photo in Snapchat, in the Snapchat app, instead of just like, unlike Instagram, when you're taking a photo on Instagram, you can actually go back to your image or gallery,
right,
and then import it from there. But with Snapchat, you have to actually use Snapchat to take your photo, and then you can use that photo after. You can save it for later.
Well, how old is this article, by the way? Do you know?
This is just in June.
Okay, so this is like really recent.
This is really recent.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I thought was really inconvenient about Snapchat, but I'm still getting used to it. Maybe I'd like it. I'm not sure. I didn't think I would like Instagram that much, but now here I am. Instagramming my way around.
So, like, do you know what the differences are between Instagram and Snapchat?
Well, yeah, it's pretty obvious, right? Snapchat is more
the
like
freaking temporary thing.
The temporary thing.
But then they have a storyboard too, which makes it like Instagram.
But the storyboard disappears after 24 hours.
Oh, can you have a permanent one?
No, you cannot.
You can't?
No. Even advertising.
So you pretty much have to watch it then.
Yeah.
If you want to like keep up to date with the person, you have to watch it.
Exactly. And that is another thing about the adverts is that, let's say National Geographic has a Snapchat like a profile. Mm-hmm. You can go to their account and watch the snap, but at midnight it cuts off. And it disappears. So a new whole storyboard comes up.
Does it tell you who watches your snaps?
It does tell you who watches your snaps.
Oh, it does?
It does.
That's good.
And that's the problem with the advertising part of it is because it's actually very expensive. It's about 10 cents per view. So it's like $1,000 per... No, $100 per 1,000 views. So...
Sounds pretty normal.
It's fairly expensive compared to other social media devices.
So it's actually only...
or
Snapchat that makes money from that.
What do you mean? Like
there's no people that like kind of like YouTube is what I'm thinking, because you know YouTube you can monetize your videos, so that way YouTube gets a cut plus you get a cut of the ad revenue. Yeah. In this case, it's only Snapchat that's collecting all the revenue.
It is, yeah, because they're not like putting it in your videos or snaps. They're not putting it in your pictures. They actually have a separate page for those adverts. Okay,
so how do people watch those ads? It's like
so you have to go to like the place where hold on, let me go back to it. So it's just the stories, which is a separate advertising channel.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So like let's just wrap it up here. Is there anything else in this article that you found interesting?
What I found interesting is actually the CEO itself. He's really controversial in a way that he has a lot of secrets. He's very secretive about his company because of the things that's happened in the past where he got hacked. Like emails have gotten hacked. So now he's really tight with the information that he comes out with, which I think a lot more people should do anyways.
Right.
Because how are you able to build a company when you kind of just keep letting things out when you're not really ready?
Yeah, exactly. Plus, like, these days, it's just the NSA and that whole scandal. Probably Google has all our information. So, but we'll talk about that in another episode. Big Brother, exactly. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That is our first podcast on Snapchat.
It didn't even make sense, but hi.
Yeah, so this is like Snapchat coming from Noobs again. But the next time, we'll actually have a topic that we know more about, maybe. And
yeah, that we will, maybe we'll read it over for like the day instead of just like the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. We read that, Wendy read that article just before we did that. And we didn't even use Snapchat, so that doesn't help either.
We didn't even try it. Okay.
So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Bye. See you later.
See ya.